All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Denton, and I am a school teacher by occupation here in Morristown, Tennessee. And I had a serious health crash when I turned 40 and spent several years at various doctors and found healing through natural alternatives and diet, nutrition. And so now I am an avid health enthusiast, and I want to share that with you. So I'm excited today to have Kimberly Emberton here with us. She is going to talk a little bit about Crohn's disease and her experience with that. She's a Kentucky girl from Granger County. Kentucky girl who lives in Granger County now for 25 years, and she works as a vendor here in the surrounding counties. So, Kimberly, thank you for doing this and for being on here with us today. We're glad to have you.
Oh, I'm glad to talk about it.
So let's just start out and tell me, as a child, you said you were pretty healthy as a child and ate a pretty good diet. Did you
Yes.
did you live on a farm or anything, or?
No, we lived in the city, but we always had a garden. So
Okay.
we always had fruit.
Okay, awesome. And so tell me when you started having health issues.
My biggest health issue was 16 years ago, when I began having a lot of stomach issues. Ended up being diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
And you had to have a major surgery. Is that correct?
Yes. By the time I was diagnosed, my insides had already perforated. So I ended up having to have surgery.
And then the surgery took care of that for a while.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Did you still have any issues, just not severe during that time?
Nothing, right. Nothing severe. Just a few things that would come up every once in a while, but it would calm back down. Yeah.
Okay. And then that affected your quality of life, I'm sure, when you did have flare-ups, because that started a couple of years ago. You started having flare-ups again, correct?
Yes. I started having major issues with it. I was trying to find another GI doctor, but before I could, I had a major flare up. Ended up in the ER where they recommended that I stay in the hospital because they were afraid I would perforate again because there was so much inflammation. So, but because of insurance purposes, I wasn't allowed to stay in the hospital. They, of course, treated me with steroids and sent me home twice.
That's scary.
During that time, yes, very scary. When you're on steroids for a long time, we know what that can do to you.
Yes.
But in the process, I found I was able to make an appointment with a GI doctor and get the necessary testing done.
Yes. And what brought you ended up really finding healing through natural health, not through another surgery or medicine. Tell me how you got introduced to more natural alternatives.
Well, I knew I needed to change my diet, and I studied out what foods were inflammatory to your system, and I completely cut those out. And then I also I was looking for other ways for my body to heal other than that. So I've actually found someone who did some testing, and they found some issues inside me other than what a doctor would find.
Like some root causes. Yes.
Yes, the root causes of everything. Yes.
Yes. And you also were telling me about a book that you used to help you. Would you tell us about
Yes.
that?
Yeah. Dr. Jordan Rubin, his book, Patient Heal Thyself.
I
He
haven't.
was, he
I,
actually had Crohn's disease himself and
oh,
was down to 100 pounds when he was in college. And he learned to heal himself through the natural foods and supplements.
that's amazing, because I know that there's, I was looking this up, there's 3.1 million people in the United States that get diagnosed with irritable bowel disease. And I had been one of those people and on a ton of medicines too. But out of those people, 780,000 people get Crohn's, are diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks your gut and intestines, and it can cause blockages and be very dangerous. It can, isn't that correct?
It can cause blockages, and it can also cause pits inside your lining of your intestines. It's kind of like it weaves, the inside of your intestines weaves, and if it's not healthy, it opens up, and there's places that pockets form where seeds or other foods can just stay there and just irritate. So yes, that's it's not good.
Yeah. So you got on a natural diet that you put yourself on, whole foods, and and you took some natural supplements. What else did you do? And tell me what results you saw from that treatment.
Well, I had to kind of weed through what was good and what wasn't good for my body.
Yes.
Some things are good for one person and not good for another. That's what makes it so hard to get to where you need to be, to find the foods that you need to eat. For me, I could eat yogurt. Other people can't take dairy. I can eat salads. Other people can't eat salads.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a weeding out process of finding what foods body will not react badly to. And another thing is listening, is praying and listening to the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He will tell you what foods you need to try and what you don't need to try. He will tell you what supplements you need to take and the ones you don't need to take. So it's a lot of in tuning with yourself and the spirit that brings the healing.
Well, it sounds like you've found something that works. You're doing well now?
Yes. Yes. I do not have any symptoms. I actually had colonoscopy done, and my doctor was amazed. She couldn't believe that there was no inflammation and no scar tissue from my surgery I'd had 16 years ago.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes.
Because when you get diagnosed with Crohn's, there's really not any hope of a cure for that, correct?
Correct. Correct. Autoimmune means it can flare up at any time, whenever it wants.
Yes.
Yes.
So have you found now, like, you feel much better? I'm sure your quality of life is a lot better, because if you're having, bouts of having to go to the bathroom and be limited on when you can travel and things like that, I imagine that was very hindering with your job too.
Yes. Yes, it
And
makes you a lot longer.
yes, and so now you don't have to worry about those things.
No, I am not concerned about those at all. I saw the pictures of my test results and the insides. My insides look brand new. They do not look like my age.
That's
So,
awesome. And we just give God total credit for that healing.
Yes.
It's amazing. He really created, this is what I learned when I had my health issues, is that God created our bodies to heal themselves. If we will get the junk out and put good nutrition that he provides in, it's amazing at how fast that happens. You said it took you about 6 weeks?
Yes, it was within 6 weeks. I
So
was going from needing surgery to needing nothing.
that is so amazing and so exciting, and will provide hope for so many people out there who are suffering with this and whose lives are really limited. And so I just want to mention again, and I'll post this in the comments below somewhere, that the book that you shared with us is by Jordan Rubin, Patient Heal Thyself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then I guess I just want to ask you, as we get ready to end, like, what would you say to people who are suffering from irritable bowel disease or Crohn's disease? What would your advice be to them?
I would say be patient. Um, it does take time to figure out what you need and what you don't need. Um, give yourself some grace. You're not going to be perfect.
Mhm.
And stay in tune with the Holy Spirit. He is the one that will guide you and lead you. And that is the best advice I can give anyone.
Well, it sounds like you're on a great road path now of healing, and you look great and you feel great. And
Yes.
I appreciate you sharing your story um, with us. And I just want to say before we end, I guess I need to do a disclaimer that um, we are not doctors or nurses or anything like that. We're not giving any medical advice. We are just sharing our testimony of how God healed us, and we believe that God can do that for everyone if
Yes.
we trust in Him.
Yes. Yes. Believing that not only that he can do it, but he will do it and he's going to do that.
Yes. You know, it's not far out from Easter, and this makes me think of something that I'm sure I'd heard before, but it really hit me one Easter. You know, a lot of times I found that I kind of lived my life like Jesus died for my sins, but I did not live my life like he had risen for my sins, like he had overcame. And I feel like that's a different perspective, like not just knowing God can do whatever, healing or anything that you need, but that he wants to, he is
Yeah.
overcome, and he's waiting on you and
Yeah.
me and everybody to look for him, to look to him for our answers and for our needs. So and he's not only powerful enough to do it, but he's, you know, that was the whole point of the cross, was our freedom. And so freedom does not, we don't have freedom when we have all this disease.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm happy that you shared this, and I appreciate it. And I am looking forward to hearing more about what God does in your life and continues to use your testimony, because I know He will.
Oh, he definitely will. And I so enjoyed telling you.
Well, thank you, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.